Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. Today we're going to be diving into all the rumors that are swirling around GPT-5 and what OpenAI is really up to, behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
seems like everyone is just waiting with bated breath for the next big AI development, and the rumor mill is just working overtime.
Hmm.
So what is the real story here? Well, we've got some articles and excerpts to unpack and hopefully shed some light on all of this.
Right, and it's interesting because OpenAI keeps saying that GPT-5 is not in development, but nobody seems to believe them. The speculation just won't die down.
Exactly. It's like trying to keep a lid on a pot that's about to boil over.
Yeah.
But they did just release a new model in September 2024
Yeah.
called O1. And it's already pretty remarkable. This article we have, GPT-5, Everything You Should Know, it really lays it all out there.
It does. And one of the things that's really interesting about O1 is this thing called chain of thought reasoning that it's capable of. It's a pretty big step forward from previous models.
Yeah, okay, I got to admit, when I first heard that term chain of thought reasoning, I was like, is this like a sci-fi movie or something? Can you break that down for us? What does that actually mean?
Sure. So think about it this way. Previous models were really good at giving you an answer, but they couldn't really explain how they got there.
Yeah,
It was kind of like a magic trick.
right.
With O1, on the other hand, it can actually show its work, so to speak.
Mm.
It breaks down a problem into steps, kind of like a human would when they're solving like a logic puzzle or something.
So instead of just like spitting out the answer, it actually walks you through its thought process.
Exactly. And that's really important for building trust in AI, because if we can understand how it's reasoning, we're more likely to accept its solutions right. Especially when it comes to things like medicine or engineering where the stakes are really high, we need to know the why behind the what.
Absolutely. And get this, O1 is already outperforming GPT-4 on those STEM tests. It's even rivaling PhD students in some cases. I mean, come on, that's wild.
It is pretty impressive. But what I think is even more interesting is what OpenAI is saying about the bigger picture of AI development. They've compared the current state of AI to like those early cell phones, the big
Yeah.
clunky ones.
Oh, yeah, I remember those things.
Yeah.
Barely fit in your pocket. Battery life was terrible. But, looking back, they really did pave the way for the smartphones we have today.
Exactly. And that's kind of what OpenAI is hinting at. We're just at the beginning of something huge. They believe an iPhone version of AI is possible.
Okay, so we've got this amazing new model O1 already doing some pretty incredible things, and OpenAI is saying that even bigger things are on the horizon. So naturally, everyone's wondering, is that bigger thing GPT-5?
Yeah.
And is that why they're being so secretive about it?
Well, that's where we get into the realm of speculation. This other article, this rumor about GPT-5 changes everything. This one really dives headfirst into that conspiracy theory.
Let me tell you, this article does not hold back. It pretty much flat out says that OpenAI has built GPT-5, but they're keeping it under wraps. And not for profit, but for some other reason. It's like something out of a spy movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a juicy theory. And it raises some pretty big questions like, why would OpenAI keep such a powerful tool hidden? What could be so groundbreaking about the supposed GPT-5? Or maybe even risky?
Right, and the article talks about these little breadcrumbs that they say suggest that something bigger is going on. Like, for example, OpenAI is publicly very focused on this Project Strawberry, which we know is O1.
Right.
But what if that's just a distraction? A way to keep the public eye off the real prize.
It's like a magic trick, right?
Yeah.
Misdirection. While everyone's looking at the left hand, the real action's happening over here with the right.
I love that analogy.
It's fun to think about, even if it's all just speculation at this point.
Well, absolutely. It's all part of the fun. And hey, even if there's no secret GPT-5 lurking in the shadows,
Yeah.
it is interesting to consider just how fast AI is developing and what that might mean for the future.
Yeah, I agree. I think this whole GPT-5 discussion, even the rumor mill part of it, it forces us to grapple with some pretty big questions like where is this all heading and what does it mean for us as humans? It's an exciting time to be alive.
It really is. And one of the things that really stood out to me in all of this was this idea of an AI that can actually think before answering. That's what this rumored GPT-5 is supposed to be capable of. Now, that's something I can get behind.
Yeah, that phrase is really intriguing, isn't it? It suggests a level of thoughtfulness and deliberation that we haven't really seen in AI before.
Right. Imagine an AI that doesn't just give you the fastest answer, but actually takes the time to consider the implications, maybe even offers you different perspectives. That could be incredibly valuable.
It could be revolutionary. Think about it. Instead of just reacting, this AI would be responding in a truly thoughtful way. And that has implications for everything from how we solve problems to how we make decisions.
No, that's something I would love to see.
It's definitely a tantalizing thought. It makes you wonder, is that what OpenAI is really aiming for? Are they trying to create an AI that's not just smart, but wise?
That's a good question, and one we'll have to keep exploring as we delve deeper into this whole GPT-5 mystery.
So before we were talking about this idea of an AI that can, think before answering, it's a pretty fascinating concept, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it also kind of makes you wonder, like, how do you even begin to program something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, we humans, we have all these complex emotions and biases and experiences that shape our thinking,
Mhm.
you know? How do you translate that into code?
Yeah, it's a massive challenge for sure. And I don't think it's necessarily about trying to replicate human emotions in a machine, but more about creating a framework for thoughtful decision making.
Yeah.
Like, what are the potential consequences of different actions? What are the ethical considerations? How can the AI arrive at the best possible outcome, not just the fastest one?
So instead of just reacting to a problem, it would actually analyze it from different angles
Yeah.
and weigh the options and then choose like the most responsible course of action.
Exactly. And that could have some really profound implications for all sorts of things. Think about self-driving cars, for example. Right now, they're basically programmed to just follow the rules of the road and avoid collisions. But what if they could also factor in things like pedestrian behavior or weather conditions or even like the emotional state of the driver to make, even more informed decisions?
Oh, that's taking things to a whole new level. And if Owen is already showing hints of this kind of thinking, imagine what like a fully developed GPT-5 could be capable of.
I know, right? The possibilities are pretty mind-boggling. Like, imagine AI that can assist scientists with, really complex research, helping them sift through mountains of data to uncover new discoveries, or AI that can design personalized education plans for students that adapt to their individual learning styles and needs.
It's like having this like super intelligent assistant always there to help you navigate complex situations and make the best possible decisions.
Yeah, exactly. That's the exciting potential.
Yeah.
But of course, there are also valid concerns. Some people worry that we're kind of heading down a dangerous path, giving machines too much power. Like, what happens if AI becomes too intelligent? Do we lose control?
It's a scary thought for sure.
Yeah.
But I also think that AI can be this incredible force for good. I think the key is to approach its development responsibly. We need to be mindful of the risks, set clear boundaries, and just make sure that human values are always at the forefront.
I totally agree. It's about finding that balance, the sweet spot where human ingenuity and AI capabilities can work together to create a better future. It's not about replacing humans. It's about augmenting our abilities and helping us solve, the challenges that we face.
And maybe that's what OpenAI is trying to figure out with this whole GPT-5 situation. Like they're trying to build an AI that's not just powerful, but also ethical and trustworthy. An AI that we can confidently partner with to solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. And I think it's something we need to keep talking about and debating and exploring. The future of AI, it's not predetermined. It's something that we're actively shaping with every choice we make.
That's a great point. And, all this talk about thinking AI makes me think about those times in my own life when I wish I had paused and thought things through a little more before reacting.
Okay.
You ever have those moments?
All the time. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's part of being human. But imagine having access to an AI that could actually help us, navigate those tricky situations and nudge us towards more thoughtful responses and maybe even save us from, some embarrassing moments.
That would be a game changer. It's like having a wise friend whispering in your ear saying hey, maybe take a breath and think this through before you hit send on that email.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe that's the real goal of GPT-5, to create an AI that's not just about speed and efficiency, but about thoughtfulness, empathy, wisdom, an AI that can help us become better versions of ourselves.
Oh, that's a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
And it brings us to another really intriguing aspect of this whole GPT-5 mystery.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about what this hypothetical AI can do, but how it might change the way we interact with the world around us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Imagine a world where you have instant access to this vast reservoir of knowledge and expertise tailored to your specific needs and interests. GPT-5, if it lives up to the hype, it could be like the ultimate learning companion, guiding us through complex topics, helping us solve problems, even inspiring us to think more creatively.
It would be like having a personal tutor a research assistant, and a brainstorming partner all rolled into one.
Exactly. And I think it could have a really transformative impact on education in particular, making knowledge way more accessible and engaging than ever before. Imagine students being able to interact with like historical figures or conduct virtual experiments or explore distant galaxies all through the power of AI.
It'd be like stepping into a choose-your-own-adventure book, but for real life. The possibilities are endless.
I know, right? And it's not just about education either. Think about the potential impact on healthcare, where GPT-5 could assist doctors in like diagnosing diseases or developing treatment plans or even providing emotional support to patients.
Or in business, where it could help entrepreneurs analyze market trends and identify growth opportunities and craft compelling marketing campaigns.
Yeah, the applications are pretty much endless. But of course, it also raises some questions about the future of work. Like, if AI can do all of these amazing things, what will be left for humans to do?
It's a question that's been on everyone's minds since like the dawn of automation, right? Will AI take our jobs? Will it lead to widespread unemployment and social unrest?
It's a valid concern for sure. But I personally believe that just like previous technological revolutions, the rise of AI will ultimately create new opportunities, new industries, and new ways of working that we can't even imagine yet.
It's like when the printing press was invented, right? People were worried that it would destroy the art of storytelling, but instead it led to this like explosion of creativity and the spread of knowledge far and wide.
Exactly. And I think the same will be true of AI.
Yeah.
I think the key is to kind of embrace the change, adapt, learn new skills, and really focus on the things that make us uniquely human.
Yeah.
Our creativity, our empathy, our ability to connect with one another on a deeper level.
So instead of fearing AI, we should see it as like a partner, a collaborator that can help us achieve our goals and solve complex challenges. It's about finding that synergy, that sweet spot, where human ingenuity and AI capabilities come together to create something truly extraordinary.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. And, that kind of brings us back to this whole idea of thinking before answering. It's not just a cool feature for an AI, it's like a philosophy, a way of approaching the world with thoughtfulness and intention. And maybe it's a quality that AI can help us cultivate in ourselves.
That's a really powerful thought, and I think it perfectly encapsulates what this whole deep dive has been about. It's not just about the rumors and the speculation. It's about those like deeper questions that AI forces us to confront. Like who are we? What do we value? And what kind of future do we want to create?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we wrap up this part of our discussion, I think it's important to remember that the future isn't set in stone. It's something that we're actively shaping, with every choice we make, every conversation we have, every action we take.
And as we continue to explore the world of AI, it's crucial that we do so with open minds, critical thinking, and a deep sense of responsibility. Because the future in many ways is in our hands.
I couldn't agree more.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've talked about the facts, the rumors, the hopes, and the fears surrounding this potential GPT-5. So as we wrap things up, what are your kind of final thoughts on this whole thing? What does all of this tell us about the future of AI?
Yeah, well, I think for me, it really just highlights how quickly things are moving in this field. Like just a few years ago, we were all amazed by what GPT-3 could do. And now we have O1, which is already pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. It's like, who knows what's next?
It's almost hard to keep up, isn't it? And with all this talk about GPT-5 and thinking AI, it really does feel like we're on the verge of something truly revolutionary. But it's also a little bit daunting, wouldn't you say?
It is, yeah. It's both exciting and a little bit scary at the same time. We're creating these tools of immense power, and I think we have a responsibility to make sure that they're used wisely.
Absolutely. And, we've talked a lot about the potential benefits of AI, but I think it's also important to acknowledge the potential risks too, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if this technology falls into the wrong hands? What if it's used to manipulate people or spread misinformation or even, cause harm?
Yeah, those are really important questions. And they're questions that I think we need to be asking ourselves right now. As AI becomes more powerful, those ethical considerations become even more crucial.
For sure. And it's not just about preventing the negative either, right?
Yeah.
It's also about making sure that AI benefits everyone, not just a select few. We need to be thinking about things like access and equity and fairness.
Yeah, I totally agree. We need to make sure that the benefits of AI are distributed widely and that everyone has a voice in shaping its development. This can't just be a conversation that's happening, behind closed doors. It needs to involve all of society.
That's a great point. So if you could leave our listeners with just one final thought to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive, what would it be?
One final thought. I would say stay curious, Stay engaged and stay informed. This world of AI is evolving so rapidly, and it's really up to all of us to help shape its trajectory. The choices that we make today are going to determine the future that we create.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a fascinating conversation, and we hope it sparks some new ideas and questions for you out there listening. And remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation, so keep exploring, keep learning, and keep thinking about all those incredible possibilities and the potential challenges that lie ahead.